So we
Yeah.
were actually talking about this AI stuff, and you basically have talked about how you came into this part and how passionate you were. So how was your journey to this? Like, how which background you actually came from, and how did you manage to get in here, and how you get to follow your passion, right? Like that.
Okay, so I will start my journey, starting from my college, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
So before entering the college, I had this idea of building some mobile hardware, mobile system, and I was very much interested in mobile phone, and I used to be very updated about all the stuff going on with the mobile market, what is coming new,
Oh,
old, and uh, and I was very much into that stuff. So I thought, ki, what if I pursue my engineering in that same field?
oh, oh,
Right.
oh,
So
oh,
when I got an option to have my branch selection, I went for triple E, that is electrical and
oh.
electronic engineering.
Hmm.
And I had this vague idea of how colleges are or how things would be and what all things I will be building. Like we have that notion of Karan Johar movie, na, how colleges are shown in Karan Johar movie, but
Oh.
reality is very different. Things are
So
not
that
exactly
was
like
that's
that.
that when the reality actually hit you, right?
Yeah, correct. So when I went into college now, I got to know that all the things which I thought of or imagined, how the things would be, things weren't like that. And I was taught the basic how the structure of engineering is taught in tier three college. And
Oh,
completing my college, and actually COVID came between when I was in the college.
oh,
And because of that, the placement and all just went
oh,
down,
yeah.
and I also lost my interest in electrical things, and so I went to a pool campus of Wipro,
Oh,
and I got selected in Wipro as a system configuration analyst. So my job was, basically validating the data, validating the flow, and
oh,
I have to deal with a lot of numbers. And honestly, I'm more of a creative guy, and my
yeah,
creative brain is much more active. So I thought of, switching, but I could have done that while being in Wipro, but it is my personal thought and what I believe in that key. If I'm going for something, I should be invested 100% in that.
yeah, yeah.
So with that thought, now I quitted my job in Wipro and I started my
Oh,
certification of Google UX design. I did a few more certification, have virtual work experience with Accenture. Then I worked on some project, built my portfolio, and
oh,
after that, my first company, I got internship there. It was named Rablo. It was a tech startup,
oh, oh,
and I learned a lot of things there. So, after completing my internship, I learned a lot of things of UX architect and how the reality of the design works in actual company or the startup.
oh, oh, oh,
And after that, I came into my current company. So my current company is also a startup.
oh, oh,
So
oh.
yeah, that is how our journey is being. So most of the time, I was following, what I thought was right at that time, and
Absolutely. So
eventually,
that's how the
yeah,
everything everyone has to go. So like we shouldn't have to be constrained on one job or constrained on one specific field. Like here all just how the backgrounds that we being came up is that if we are following a basic branch, we have to just go on that path itself. So that's how everyone has
hmm,
been programmed to think. So apart from that, if you
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah,
creative mind, so it's good to pursue in that way. So this would be more kind of like an open call or just like eye opener for many to pursue other things if you are just interested for that. And that's good to hear. And so that's how you actually came to this field, and that's really good. And so talking about that, so the startups actually help you just learn a lot of things. And I have been already learning a lot of type stuff. And Startup actually helps you learn a lot of things. But apart from that, how's the work culture in a startup? So how things goes in that in the what was your experience by the way?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll tell you that I've been into two startups now, and I've
Oh,
worked with few clients. Those were also startups. So I have a very fair knowledge of how the startups work. So I would tell that in startup everything is very fast paced. Startup believe, at least we as a company, we believe in fail fast, try fast. So we don't sit here on a single idea and keep on thinking. We go to execution very fast.
hmm.
So in startup, na execution is very fast. The approval and all the procedure is very much smooth and fast. Like we don't have to wait ki any senior would come and approve the thing. So
Oh,
it is
so the
very
time
fast
lag is
paced.
this. There's no time lag for anything. So everything happens so fast.
Yeah, everything happens so fast, and we are given more room to think about. And if we have a CEO from the tech background, na, so that kind of CEO actually allows us to, think outside of the box. If we come up with a new idea which does not align with their idea, they would actually listen it and try to implement it. And they
Hmm.
give the room for a lot of creativity, lot of going through unconventional step and all. So I think that is how startup help us. And the second point I would like to add is that in startup now we have to wear a lot of hat. Like
Yeah.
you can't be if you are a designer, you just can't be a designer. You have to do a little bit of business analyst part. You little bit have to uh, managing the project or
Okay. Yeah.
communicating your ideas. So that is one thing, and one more thing that in my previous startup, we rarely had any tickets raised up. Okay, so when a issue came up, now
Hmm.
we don't have any ticket raised up. It is all verbal. Ki, okay, this happened, this went wrong, just fix it. So everything is very quick, and nobody is actually running towards completing a ticket or solving a ticket. We're actually working to improve a product or the thing we are working on. So that is a type of culture startup allows us to have.
Oh, so that's great. Really great to hear. Like, I work from 8 to 9 in my first place, and I know how this work culture is, and how I also have curious about how this startups works, and I really wanted to know how this how was your journey and what was your experience with being a startup. And what I get from is that we could learn a lot from the startups things and being a part of that. And apart from that, now moving into the next question, now what I want to know is that what are the decisions that you have to take when being a designer, if you are just working in that field, and what are the decisions and what things that you have to share to the whole team members when you are taking a decision in doing anything upon?
All team members.
Yeah, like.
Acha, okay, all team. Yeah, right. So I will tell you, like if I am working with a team of developers, na, then
Mm-hmm.
when I'm designing a stuff,
Oh,
I have to make sure that it is technically feasible. A
oh,
developer should actually be able to code that. If I make a very much fancy, flashy stuff design and a lot of animation, and if I know the capability of my developer team, so I have
oh.
to keep that in mind. Ki how much a developer team of developer can achieve, and also have to keep in mind the timeline. Like you could develop, maybe dev team could do a lot more better, but now the timeline is very constrained. We have to do the testing, the qa and all. So I have to
Oh.
keep that in mind, and when I take decision, I always think in their shoes that how fast they could do it. And the second point is that when I'm designing, I have to take care of a lot of stuff. Like I'm if people listening to us who are aware of Figma, they might know that we have frames, we have a group, we have layer, we have
Oh.
design system. So when we take care of that, na, it becomes very easy for dev team to actually implement it. So that is what I take care when I'm working with my team members.
Oh, so that's how this basic how the things works and the in the field that you're actually working. So And the next
Yeah.
thing I want to know is that if there are many people working with you, and there are many big apps today, and what would be a single
Mhm.
most common or the something like an anti-user feature that you see in a lot of big name apps, if you are able to understand, or if you are, have you ever noticed something like that in any of the apps, right? The if you are no, no,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I understand. So basically, you're asking about the dark patterns that application actually follow
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
market. Uh, I won't take the name of the applications, but I'll give you an example.
Oh,
There is an application, what it does is that it will have you clicked few checkboxes by default.
oh,
Okay. Uh, and if I go to more detail, people will actually know what I'm talking about. So I'll mask it a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
good. That's actually good for both me and you, I would think.
yeah. So those app will actually, uh, it will not, there's a law in US or a term in US where we have to keep the user informed about the decision they are taking or the things they are doing. So in
Oh,
the dark UX pattern, they hide that. They will have few checkboxes, tick marked by default. And when you go to checkout, then you'll understand ki, okay, I paid extra for something which I already had, or if I needed a paper bag maybe, but I haven't clicked it. But like paper bag is by default, bro. You get it everywhere. You go to normal grocery store, a vegetable vendor, he will give you a plastic bag or any bag. But these people, they have this checkbox key. If you click that, then you will get the paper bag. Otherwise, you won't get it. I don't
oh,
consider it fully dark pattern, but there's something which concern me. But and there are many more app in advertisement. You go to any website, the application, it will have the skip button or the cross button very much hidden.
oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
just so you could be there. So let me give an example. If you have an application with a white background, so they will have the cross button or the skip button in the same white background, so that
Oh, so
you are
that we
not
can't
able to
just see
find
that.
it. Ah, correct.
Oh,
So, and what the usual thing, na, ki if you're, let us take example, you're using a app named B, okay,
hmm.
and there is an advertisement of a game which is showing up, and you are not able to skip it or cross it. So, what you'll do in first session, okay, I'll download the game, let it
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So, eventually, they force you to download the app or the game which you don't
Which
need or
we
you will
don't
never
need.
play. But
Yeah, we don't want to
yeah,
play.
so correct. So that is the dark use pattern I see around. But
Oh,
I would like to add that now I would appreciate the EU actually. The EU Union, na, they are very much strict and very much thoughtful about the patterns going on. So they are actually bringing up laws to reduce the dark use pattern.
oh. So what's the thing called the EU? I want to know more about that. So it's called EU. It's a union.
EU is yeah, European Union, the
Oh,
group of European country. So they are actually very thoughtful about everything. So if you're aware of the Type C port in iPhone, which came with iPhone 15.
yeah. I heard something about that, like the how this seaports and something different, differentiating and something like that. I don't know
Yeah.
much detail about that.
So before iPhone 15, na, Apple used to have their own proprietary Lightning cable,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
But actually, EU told them that the port should be common to all, and you people should actually put the Type C port.
So that's how they think.
So so EU is taking care of everything very well. You might be aware of one more example I would give. In Google Dial, when you record a call, it will actually announce it. This
Oh,
call is being now recorded. So
uh,
that feature came after EU. EU actually told Google that you can't invade anyone's privacy or anything. If you want to record, you should actually inform the user. That is part of UX I'm talking about.
oh,
You are actually informing the user the action that is being taken. So that is how EU is very good. And coming back to the point, EU is actually regulating all the dark UX pattern being used in industry. So Things are going on.
Oh, oh.
Hope for the best.
Oh, that's something new, right? For me, like I haven't been heard about this thing, and like if things are like that, and what could be that? Like, what's the one of the most unpopular opinion of about the future of UX? Like AI is also coming into the picture, and we have you basically said about the EU unions being regulating all this patterns out there. So
Mhm.
how would be the unpopular opinion that would feel about the future of UX or about the design systems?
Okay, so let us go with a popular opinion first, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the popular opinion would say that AI will replace the design system and it won't be a UX need, it will be by default, or the system would be smart enough to actually understand the context of your design and put that design system into your design. And I totally agree with that.
Uh-huh.
It is going to happen, and that is a good thing. But the unpopular opinion which I have, and it is very personal to me, is that if you are a designer who actually uses brain and think to design any screen or an application, there won't be a problem. But if you are someone who constantly needs to be told what to do, right?
Oh, oh,
If you're someone who constantly needs, instruction from anyone. You don't use your brain, you do only what is told. So right now you're taking it from human. After few years, you would be taking instruction from the AI. AI would tell you ki, okay, add this feature. AI would tell you to, okay, add this section. AI will tell you to use this color, that color. So the future won't be that good. But if you're someone who actually think, and if you're keeping the, let us take example, if you're keeping the color of the button blue, then if you have
oh,
a thought of it ki, why I'm keeping it blue, what message the color would actually give to the user, you are in a good shape, and
oh,
you don't need to worry. But if you're someone ki, if I'm keeping blue just because client told me, and you're not putting any thought into it, then I think you need to rethink upon your decision and the thought process you are having right now.
So that's nice. Like, so this is how the things that are going to be done out of, but there will be place for us. Like everyone would be have to have the decisions, and like if you have been this designers, and if you have to go to the first year learning from the basic things you have been learning, so what would be a one skill, or particularly like a one high value skill that you might have think that, oh, I could have learned this from the very start, and something that it might be something outside the design process that you have been doing. Like, what would be the one skill that you feel that you might have learned earlier that would be helpful for you right now? Is there something like that?
Okay, I'm very glad that you asked this question, and it would actually help many people out there. So I would like to add that, in the starting of your career, if you are very much aware of the business terms which actually are used, like the ROI, user engagement,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
click-through rate, and these are the stats that actually matters a lot, and this is actually what the stakeholder or the client values about. And we as a UX designer, when we start up now, we only think about making the screen beautiful. So that is one thing I would like to share to all the freshers, that start thinking in terms of business and start designing in terms of strategy, not just how the screen is looking, but a whole strategy of how the business model will go through, and how will I achieve the business goal of the client, or
okay,
any
okay.
new requirement. So
Oh.
that is something I would like to add.
So that's how the thing, that thing, like, it's really right. Like, when we are just when being freshers, and when we actually understand the field, and knowing about the business terms are actually nice. And if you are also able to know about this, and that's kind of like a cool kind of stuff also. Like, we know the business terms and things like that. And everyone out there would be great to learn all this business terms if they are entering, irrespective of the fields that they are actually learning. And that's nice. And like, how's your work right now with the current startup that you're being working?
Oh, Okay, so I will explain you about the work. Uh, as I told you earlier that we are a service-based company, right?
Yeah, it's called Sapphire
So
Infrared,
we
right?
have, yeah, that is PP input actually, and we are a service-based company,
Oh,
and we usually deal with enterprise level software.
oh,
And
okay, okay.
let me give you an example. We had a client earlier, BCG,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a whole enterprise level software platform, and
Oh,
it was divided into multiple user role for the vendor, for the manager,
oh,
for the field staff, for the admin. So we actually deal with a very large scale software, and we have one more software called Epic, and it is around 3 lakh users,
oh,
monthly active users, 3
monthly
lakhs.
users.
So yeah, so we are actually handling that kind of data and that kind of load, and in some days around 2.5 lakh people would be logging in at the same time, interacting
Oh,
with the same dashboard at the same time. So our company manages that huge amount of data and user load at the same time. So
oh,
we are shifting towards more exclusive company of more software, but to our basic core, we are more of a data company.
oh,
We
data
deal with
company.
a lot
Oh,
of, yeah.
okay, okay. So if you when we complete a high fidelity design, like, what does the
Mhm.
hand of works look like? Like, how do you maintain this design integrity, or once the code is being written, or if we are designing the process, so how does that process actually would be in that field?
So after high fidelity is done, if we are following a good, good practices of design, we would create a style guide or a design system. We
Mm-hmm.
would actually name the layers very logically,
Mm-hmm.
and we would make use of some more design stuff so that it gets easy for the developer to interact with the design.
Oh, oh,
And
oh.
Figma, the software which is bread and butter for most of us in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
Figma is the option of a dev tool. So how, if you are very much aware of how our dev tool works, or how the dev tool actually interact with your frame and with your design. So if we keep that in mind, the handoff becomes very easy, and there is a very less feedback or follow-up question from the developers. So that
Oh,
is
oh,
how we hand off. We actually hand off in Figma itself.
oh,
And if I add to the procedure more, I would tell that we have some documentation. We have DFD, that is data flow diagram. So
oh,
if we define that, it will tell the developer that if we have designed few screen, how the data is actually flowing from where. If let us take an example, if I'm showing that Bharat have 20, let us take 1 million follower, है
mm-hmm.
ना? So from where I'm getting the data of the follower,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or from where I'm taking your profile picture. If Instagram is showing your profile picture 3 times,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the data flow diagram actually shows you that if you're showing picture 3 times at 3 different places, from where it is coming from, where it
Oh,
is being stored. So that
oh,
is data flow diagram. So we give data flow diagram, we give user flow diagram, so
oh.
that it becomes easier for the developer to understand how the user journey is being mapped. So that is how we hand off our design to the developer.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Like, it's how the basic workflows and the processes are being maintained. And when once you do that, like, before that, you actually said about the research part. Like, you basically, if a stakeholder, so you're the a client are being taking, and they are coming to you with a basic thing or basic product that they have to get. You do a lot of research about that, like, how does the user research truly factors into this, if you are doing these things, like, what's the most smallest or the most effective research insight that you would use to change for a major decision or a major design decision that you have to take? So what's the factors in that?
Okay. So basically, you are asking me that how research actually affect the way we design, right?
and the most small insights that you have to have about the to design the thing.
Okay. Let me think of a good example
Mm.
where I could explain this easily. Uh, okay. So we were building an application where user actually register and it would tell you all the racing event happening near you, right?
Yeah.
And what all, and the client had a rough idea. He himself being a part of marathon or something very early on. So he told that what all things actually matter and what all things has to be added in the application, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and we went with that because we trusted that. And I did some in UX we have two kind of research, qualitative and quantitative,
Uh-huh.
right? So in quantitative research, we read a lot of data and try to make sense out of it or have insight from that data.
Okay, so what's
So
this data would be actually like uh if there's a data.
data, huh, okay, so data would be actually it will look like, if I'm taking the same example, in my current city, if I'm launching the app, how many people go for regular running? How
Oh,
many people go for casual running? How many people are, go running on weekend basis, or how much distance they actually cover?
oh,
Or, should these type of, then I have to consider the demographic, like
oh,
how
yeah.
the demographic would work. Like if you are living near the park, so the probability of people living near the park going for a running is more
Mm-hmm, yeah,
rather than you traveling 10 kilometers just for running. That probability decreases. And if we are serving a lot of user base, we have to think about many small things like this. Okay,
yeah.
so client had an idea about what a racer would look for in your application and all. And I did my this research of the data, that how many users, the group and all. But I had this that this research won't be enough, and I have to dig more deeper in that. So what I
Oh,
did, I went to the park
mm-hmm.
on a weekend.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I noticed few runners, and I grouped them. Okay, these two guys wearing blue looks like a casual runner. These two
Oh,
look like a regular runner and all.
oh,
So I grouped them. Okay, and I waited patiently till the time their running is done. So when their running is done, I went to them and I told them that I'm a designer and I'm designing an application for runners like you. Would
oh,
you able to contribute or answer a few questions and all? I have to be very friendly with them. And eventually they agreed ki okay, let us go forward. So I actually asked them ki how's your routine? What you actually look for a app, and what do you actually look in the app while you're running? So I can use my mobile phone like this sitting anytime, but when I'm running and I'm using my mobile phone or seeing something, it means that
oh,
it takes a lot of matter for me. It does matter for me. And
yeah,
it is something very urgent. So I thought ki it should be easy. So if runner are interacting with my application, I have to make it in a way that they can actually interact it while running. So while running now, you don't have a target set ki okay, I have to click here. You are running, you're in a moment. You
yeah,
can click here and there, anywhere your hand would go. So I have to make that proximity area of that key. Okay, while running, how they will interact. And what I got from that feedback is that sometimes they have to take out their mobile phone and lock their lap or things like that. Not everyone have smartwatches that are dedicatedly for made for running.
okay,
So our
okay.
apps should actually fulfill that gap.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
you're
small
actually right.
thing, na.
Yeah, because I can actually relate to this. Like, I actually run a half marathon for this just recently, and I was just practicing for this. So I used to carry my phone every time. So if I
Mhm.
have to take this phone, so I have to actually take from my pocket and just look for the either the time that I am covering the distance or the distance I have to reach. So it's actually very difficult for me. So what I actually do is that I just look at the phone that I'm having, and I actually need a place to just actually see those things. like what's the time,
Mm,
what's the correct place I have to place the hand, if, from what you have been saying. So this actually is a problem when I'm running for a marathon. I'm actually doing the thing. So that's actually kind of like nice thing. And like to do that, this is how the process of a designer is thinking. And I was just curious to know because I actually could relate all this stuff, like these are the things. And
yeah,
what you have been doing is that the basic market research and going to the people and asking about the users, because from those people we have to get the thing, we have to get the data. And
correct, correct.
yeah, that's the exact method we have to follow. And sometimes I usually do kind of like, if I'm going to some people's, I do in the Google Forms, like I would just share the form. But I recently came to know that going to the people, interacting with the peoples, and asking about the questions to them, that's the best thing to actually get a lot of informations from. So that's the one thing that you have been doing, that's actually good, and I think that's really nice. And talking about the
Yeah.
next thing, like there have been so many stakeholders out there, like there would be product managers and engineering lead, and you also talked about the
Hmm.
different stakeholders. And when from your point of view, I don't know if I can ask this, but who do you find the most challenging to align with, or what is your personal strategy for winning over all of them if you have to do anything such like that?
Okay. So I will be very natural and honest here. Uh, when you're dealing with a stakeholder who are in the upper hierarchy of the company, let us take
Oh, okay.
CEO, right?
Yeah.
So those people have a lot of work and they actually aren't interested in how beautiful the dashboard looks like or how beautiful the flow is. They want the outcome, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
They focus only on the outcome, only on the important KPIs. Ki if I designed a product, how many users are actually completing the flow? What
Mm-hmm.
kind of data I'm gathering,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they are majorly interested in that and the ROI we are getting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let us take an example, a very short example. I'll take. We built an healthcare application where, you know, a doctor would be given an application and
Mm-hmm.
doctor will present that application to the patient and
Mm-hmm.
it will simply ask about the diet key. If you drink if I remember clearly, it had a few questions like if you drink Coke or not, if you drink coffee or tea, if you drink coffee or tea late at night or not. So we have many questions like that, right?
Okay, okay, yeah.
So these questions, if I take this data of 100 regular patient of the doctor,
Mm.
right? So I will have a basic understanding of the lifestyle of the patient, of
Okay, okay.
that particular doctor, right?
Oh,
That this is the application. I simply explain you the application. But if I explain this to the
SEO.
stakeholder or to the CEO, yeah, so they are not interested in that key what you did, what came out of it. Like so,
Oh,
if I go on with that key, okay, so if, with this application now, doctors are able to diagnose their patient disease 25% more, or they are more aware of the lifestyle of the patient. So they are doing their treatment in that way. The medicine they are prescribing are now very thoughtful about keeping in mind the lifestyle of their patient, right?
oh,
And and we are also getting to know the lifestyle of the patient which doctor deals with, so we can actually create more product around it. So that
oh,
is the kind of outcome she is interested in. Ki what is happening? You created the app, everything is good, it looks good, flowing easy, it is developed very well, deployed well, but what is coming out of it? So the upper
oh,
management stakeholder are mostly, focused on the outcome of that. So I
oh,
have to
yes.
focus on that. So if I'm
Oh,
presenting the application to a developer, I would explain him the flow and the data flow. But
okay,
if
okay.
I'm explaining it to a CEO, I have to focus more on the KPI and the outcome that are being
Oh, so
built
one
on that
has to
application.
actually deal with that. Like, a CEO would be more focused on the outcomes, and rather than be if a project manager or a product manager is asking about it, they would be
Yeah,
actually having different things to get from that thing. And
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
so that's actually nice. Like, if I'm also a project manager, and I also have this was something new to me, and I'm not that much into the field of this IT field or this designing or app field, but
Hmm.
I really want to know this. Like, this was something that I needed to know if in the place and things like that. And summing up, because of the time constraints, I
Hmm.
want to move on. Just what are the tools? Tools are the right now we have been using a lot of tools, and we have. I think I have really again. I really have only 3 or 5 minutes to this. And what are the
Yeah.
something? What would be the just AI tools that you would be using right now? That's making your task. That's things easier. And what would be that?
Okay, so the first AI tool I would mention would be ChatGPT. It
Yeah, I believe
helps a
that.
lot with the research and all. And second, I would tell that if we have a very shorter project timeline, then I would use Figma Make. Figma Make is absolutely good,
Oh, oh,
and it actually help us to validate the flow we are thinking on.
oh,
And then I would say that we have Claude. If you have an idea and you want to validate the user flow of that, so Claude
oh,
is very good at that.
oh.
Claude would help you with that. And
Oh, I basically use Claude for many writing stuffs like scripts and things like
right,
that.
right.
Oh, so
I was coming
this
to
is
that.
a kind of another use cases of the Claude.
Yeah, yeah, Claude is actually very good at writing, which you mentioned, and you can build user flow out of it. So if you ask the ChatGPT to give you a user flow, na, it would give you text and all and everything like that, a rough diagram in
Yeah,
that SQL window. But if you tell Claude to build you a user flow, na, it would actually do the coding part and show you the
yeah.
preview of that, ki how the flow is being looking. So Claude is very intelligent in that term.
Uh,
So I would say Claude, ChatGPT, Figma, Make,
make.
and yeah, and I'm not and for the image generation, I would say that Nano Banana from Google
Yeah,
Gemini,
me too.
absolutely
I'm also
killer,
using
bro.
that thing.
Yeah, Nano Banana is like absolutely killer performance, and apart from that, I would say that one more AI tool, if I have to mention, uh, I would be mentioning UX Pilot.
Oh, what's that?
UX Pilot.
UX Pilot. So it's the
Yeah,
yeah. So what's the thing about that?
it actually builds you real time screen of the application you have prompted on,
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
and
okay.
it does it very well. So these are my go-to tools for navigating daily in my job.
Oh, that was nice to hear, and that was actually nice to have a conversation with you, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
thank
really,
you. I feel the same.
yeah.
Actually,
But I
forward
actually
are
like to
important.
talk more, but I'm limited by the time and the time that I have, and I would be glad if we could do another session also, if possible. And so the next session, if we are planning to have a next session, then we could also do discuss a lot of things and how is life how is your life being going on, and new things you are learning, and we could also discuss about in the next phase. It would be more like if you are able to teach me something, and we can actually have a conversation and do that kind of stuff. If anything, just small thing, if you are anything able to teach, if anything is something that's like that's the and